All right, we're here with a special one-off episode. I wanted to get just us fellas in the room. I'm here with the one and only Johnny Ferguson. I call him Ferg.
Yes,
I think a lot of people call him Ferg.
Yeah.
We got a whole lot of names for him. But I just wanted to give you a moment, man. I want to share this space with you, just as kind of the fellas that are doing the things at Awaken, and just from a sense of, I see kind of a likeness in the way that we interact with the students. And so I just wanted to kind of highlight that space for us. So tell us a little bit about yourself. I guess reintroduce yourself to the people a little bit, and then we'll kind of go from there.
Okay, I'm Johnny Ferguson, and I'm an instructor for the Awaken Foundation, and I also am the co-owner of Job Ready Construction Bootcamp.
All right. And so with that, you bring in close to about how many years of experience would you say you bring into the game?
Over 40.
Okay.
Over 40.
So tell me about your start. Tell me about your start with the game and your kind of your journey with trades of how we got to this point.
Well, I started working at a local hospital, and that's where I learned a lot of my trades. I would have certain things I would have to do. Once I got done with those jobs, then I would have time to go and work with the plumber for a while, and work with the drywaller for a while, work with the electrician for a while, painter. So I got a taste of a little everything.
Okay.
And once I did that, then I got off into real estate.
Okay.
And once I got my first home, that's when I started learning exactly what's what hands-on. So after doing that, it just took off.
And I love that. I kind of have like a similar approach, and I've had a similar experience with life where like I've gotten the chance to like kind of coordinate a lot of different stuff. And so I'm the guy who calls the plumber. I'm the guy who calls the electrician because I was doing some building maintenance at a different couple churches that I was working for. And so I had the same experience where like he's coming in to do electrician, but I'm just going to be right over his shoulder. So I'm watching him, just watch what he do it. Then before I know it, he like, hey, give me that such and such, or give me that. And then he like, hey, I'm going to do this. And I'm just looking through it. The other day, I actually have some footage of that I would love to probably add to this, where I was with another friend who's an electrician, older guy. He reminds me of my grandfather. And so I love spending time with him when he comes to do jobs. So he comes to do a job, he might bring an assistant, but he might not. The days he don't, it was a job that I brought him in to do that we did a couple years ago. And so we're going back kind of tracing through the work that we did the last time, and like some of the stuff I remember, some of the stuff he was recalling. And it's just really cool to see somebody who knows that much but still be willing to share with me the entire time. He's always dropping gems. He's always giving me tips on how to do certain stuff, how to look for certain stuff. And so I see like that similar approach that you're taking with the students. And so kind of explain how you've translated that into the way that you instruct.
I didn't want to be a person that knew just one thing, because there's a lot of different avenues I can run down. So being able to be with the students and give them a knowledge of flooring, painting. Like right now we're doing the game room at Northwest Community Center, where it's flooring, hanging ceiling, doing the ceiling, painting. So bringing the students in and giving them hands-on to learn that. If I had to just stayed in one thing, I wouldn't have been able to branch off and give them a lot of knowledge on a little everything. What's that saying? Jack all trades, master of none.
Yeah.
But I'm like a jack all trade, master of some.
Yeah. And I've dealt with that a couple different times in my lifetime. And when I was a teenager, I learned to love. So I learned systems really quickly, but I was a person who I only learned it enough to when I can start using it. Because I don't feel like I have enough time to learn it fully, because I want to learn something else too. So I'm on to the next thing. So I learned a lot of stuff where I was like decent at it, but I never perfected it. And so when I learned when I first learned that full phrase, I kind of was like, man, maybe I should be like spending more time mastering more. But it's like, yes, you have to always be improving, but it's just always good to add more skills. And yes, you have to hone them skills, but you got time. And you just spend a little more time with it, and you just learn that you grow over time, and having those different tasks help.
I like to, like the ones when I say I master of some, there's a lot that I can do. For example, I built a home. I wired it, so I had to have it inspected. I mean, new meter from the ground up. Had to put a new meter in, and did all the electrical to it. And the inspector came through, inspected it, and he was impressed. He said some of my work was better than some of the licensed people that would come through and do the job, but the licensed person that taught me, I listened. And I took everything that he told me and I grasped it. So I know this is how it's supposed to be. I'm not going to touch nothing half-ass. If I'm going to do something, I'm going to do it right. So nobody can come in and pick it apart. Feel me? If it's something that I don't know, I'm not going to mess with it. You know what I'm saying? But from the ground up, I built a home, built a couple of homes, and one that I did, and that was my first one. And the people that I was going to and asking them how to get what do you want to call it? Get bids for. They was giving me these crazy ass bids, right? So I said, I can do this myself. So I became my own general.
Yes, sir.
I had them dig it, pour it, roof it, frame it, and put my underground plumbing in, and what else? And my ductwork.
Okay.
I took off from there.
And
The
did the rest
drywall,
yourself,
the
huh?
flooring,
Yeah.
the painting, the ceramic, the kitchen cabinetry, and believe me, it turned out sweet.
Yeah.
The trim work. I mean, if you have a love for something, you can do it. But if you don't have that love, it ain't gonna turn out right.
Right. So let's talk about how you translate that to the students. How do you translate that to the classroom? I know that that's easy work for when we get to the shop, but how do you get them to lock in on the front part of that? Because that is kind of a hard part of the journey, is that like, yes, you want to start cutting, you want to start measuring, you want to start doing whatever, but like if you don't have that knowledge of it first, we got to start there with that part of it.
Well, that's starting with the books.
Yeah.
You get them in with the books, you take them through the core. Once they show that they're doing the core and they passing their tests, and once we take them from passing their tests and showing that they know what they're doing, then we take them into the shop. But the first thing is finding out where their head is at. If their head is not in the game, then they're not going to be in the game in the shop. You know what I'm saying? A lot of them don't want to do the book stuff, but if you get the book stuff, learn the terminologies, learn the safety of it, then you're going to be good in the shop. Some of them want to jump right into the shop, but if you can't come in my class and do my class time, seat time, then I don't want you in the shop, because you're missing the important things, and that's safety, what a tool is called, how to handle a tool, you know, those kind of things.
Yeah. So in your experience, I guess I will start with just the Awaken students. How has it been with the students who come in with no experience versus the ones who come in kind of thinking they know a lot, or some that do know a lot? I can see in your face that second side is a lot harder.
Man.
So talk me through that a little bit.
The ones that don't know, I'd rather have, because they're open to it. The ones that think they know and want to act like they know more than the instructor, I don't want to have time for them, because they try to start instructing the instructor. Well, this is the way my great-granddaddy did it. Well, that's the way your great-granddaddy did it. This is the way I want it done. So you got to do basic communication. If they can't follow basic communication, then they don't need to be with me. You feel me? Because I'm telling you, just being an instructor and then say go to a job site, that supervisor or that boss ain't gonna like what he see when you go to him and tell him my great granddaddy showed me how to do it this way.
That's the part that I think that sometimes get lost in translation a lot, is that like we're tough on you because you're learning here. You're not learning when I'm trying to get you on a job site. Everything you do there, one, your safety is really in danger. This is a really dangerous job that if you do it in the wrong way, you can get seriously hurt.
Yes.
So that's why you need to listen, number one. And you need to listen to the person who's in charge, because number two, they are the person that's responsible for you. Like as the person, as a classroom, you have a classroom of sometimes 10 to 12. We take 15 at maximum without any help. But like that's 15 different lives that are in your hand at any given time, any given accidents. We don't know what's going on with wiring or a tool could be broken, anything like that. And it's hard sometimes to get them to understand that, yes, you may have some experience with it or even some knowledge. You might be licensed, but the person in charge is, one, in charge for a reason.
Right.
And two, more than in charge, they are responsible. And so it's kind of, I know that sits on you a lot to be the person to deliver that toughness and to hold that boundary. But I definitely also want to share some light on like the reason why. I know students have a tough time with that sometimes and why we have to be so, you're going to do it my way or you're not going to do it. And sometimes, they get lost in, we're trying to help you. Yes, we're trying to help you. Yes, we're trying to build you, but I want you to do that safely. And to do that safely, we have to hold that guardrail up to where it should be.
Right. Because one thing that I done seen, the ones that feel they know it all, they're the ones that make the first screw up, measuring something off. Well, something's not right. Something's not. What's not right is you not listening. You not holding that tape measure and looking at the numbers that you're supposed to. Measure twice, cut once.
Yeah.
If you're starting a saw off, you don't have that saw on the object that you're cutting. A lot of that happens. But those are from the people that think they know it all and want to impress the other classmates,
Yeah.
But the ones that sitting back and want to learn, you can pick them out right away. You know what I'm saying? You can pick them out right away. And the ones that you're going to have problems with, and the ones that you're not going to have problems with. So yeah, I mean, it's nice to have some students come in that know what they're doing, but if you're knowing what you're doing, still respect who's trying to show you who's in charge. Yeah.
Let's switch gears. I want to make sure we get into what I brought you here for. That's for the stories. I often, myself, the way that I show up for people, so whether I'm leading or I'm assisting, whatever I'm doing, I'm showing up as a collection of my experiences. And I've learned that in sharing those experiences, it helps people to kind of get where, not only understand what I'm saying, but where I'm coming from. And I feel like you share a lot of times in the same manner. And I think back to graduation on some of the stories that you told, and I want to give you a space to kind of share some of my favorite ones. I know I dealt myself with surgery, and so when you tell the surgery story, I think about myself dealing with my family and like looking at my family and knowing that I'm going under and how serious that can be. And just how you manage that space and how you share that to give your motivation for why you do what you do. So I just want to give you some space to kind of share a little bit.
Well, I'm a spiritual person, and I learned this. I mean, I knew it all my life, but I was reassured that I was a spiritual person 6 years ago when I had a heart attack. I had a quadruple bypass. The morning of my surgery, I was asleep, right? I woke up and I saw something in the corner and it scared me, but it was big and powerful, so big and powerful. And it was quiet that morning. I stayed in the hospital for like 7 days before my surgery. In that 7 days, I died. And when I had that spiritual walk, it was showed to me what I was supposed to do. And that was to give back to the students. My deal with my father was, I've given you all these gifts, all these carpentry gifts, all these, trades gifts. And I want you to share that, because over the years, I was like, I don't want to teach nobody.
Yeah.
I had 4 people that I actually taught, 3 nephews and a son.
Okay.
Let me take that back, and my 2 daughters.
Okay.
I taught them, and I didn't want to teach nobody else. But when I was laid on my back and I died, and he told me, this is what I want you to do. I want you to share your gifts with these troubled people, these troubled young people, and give them what I gave you, because you can't take it with you. So in that agreement, I did. And that agreement was, he's going to give me someone to help me go to the places that he want me to go, to give my gifts to these students, which came the Awaken Foundation. And I'll back up. Let me back up. It was another school that I was with. They gave me my first step to teach these young people. And then I was with them for 3 years, and then we ended up with the Awaken Foundation, because my hands was tied with the first class that I was with, the first school that I was with. But then he unleashed my hands when he gave me the Awaken, Miss Jaria. Once he gave me that, everything just unfolded. What he told me was going to happen is happening. he told me that I was gonna share these stories, and I was like, and I do it, you know, I always do it with you, and it's like,
Yeah.
no, that ain't what I want to do. Don't put me out front. I don't want that. But it's like it comes, and it's like it just unfolds because now I'm understanding that I have to tell these stories because there's a lot of young men out here that has their own stories. There's life that you can actually open back up when you go through things. And being in the position that I was in and to see that some of the things that he showed me, I see it. I can be in my classroom and I'm looking over the students and it's like that day that I walked, made my spiritual walk. That's the same picture that I'm looking at. I'm looking at what he showed me. You know, so it's like, this is real. You know, this spirituality is real. And it's just amazing. I'm trying to hold things together and I can't get it all out.
Yeah, it's tough at times because we have that, like the moments where you just know that things are the way they're supposed to be.
Yeah. For them to tell me that I wasn't going to make it and hearing the nurses while I'm laying in my bed saying, there's no way he's supposed to be here. The way his heart was, he was not supposed to be here. And I'm laying there and I'm like, I can't speak because I got the tube in my mouth, but I'm hearing all this. And it's like, I'm dreaming. This can't be real. But then when the doctor, when he came in and actually, and I'm no tubes, no nothing, he was like, it was only the grace of God. He says, the surgery was only supposed to last 6 hours, and I ended up 13 hours. You know, they was telling my wife when they brought me out of recovery, told my wife, call your family so they can come and say goodbye to him. You know, he might not make it through the night. And here it is 6 years later, you know, and the things that he told me to do, I'm doing and I'm steady doing. And it's like, it's just unreal on the things that I'm seeing.
Yeah.
You know, the morning of my surgery, like I said, every morning while I was in there for those 7 days, I would hear a woman, older lady, saying, help me, help me. Every morning when I wake up, that's what she was saying, help me, help me. And the monitors was going off. I hear the nurses. This was 7 days while I was in there. The morning of my surgery, I woke up and I didn't hear nothing. It was silence, no beeping of the machines, no nurses, no help me, dead silence. I didn't even hear my wife breathing. And it was just so crazy how everything was like, it was like this, a tunnel. But I looked over in the corner, I saw something big and powerful over in the corner, and it scared me, right? I jumped up out of my bed and I went into the bathroom and I closed the door. And I was like, something's out there. I can't go back out there. Something's out there. Then it's like, but you got to go back out there because your wife is out there. So when I went out, I heard the little old lady, help me, help me. The machines was going off. The nurses was talking. My wife, I'm hearing her still over there sleeping. It's like, what was that? But everything was back to normal. My sister and everybody came in. They prayed before it was time for me to go downstairs for the holding area. They came in and they was praying. And while they was praying, I'm laying there in bed, and my sister and sister-in-law, they was all taking turn and praying. And my sister-in-law, she started speaking in a language. And then my other sister-in-law, she started speaking in a language. And I'm laying there, because I'm not a religious person. I'm laying there and I'm listening. I'm like, okay, here they go. And before I can come out of my mouth with "here they go," I started speaking in a language. Oh man, I was like, it was just unreal. And when I got done, everything went back to normal. They was taking me down, and the nurse was like, that was powerful. I've never seen anything like that. I never heard anything like that. And before all this took place, remember, I was afraid. I was scared. When I got downstairs and I'm laying in the room on my cart, we in there laughing and joking. And the doc came in, he goes, for you to have a surgery that's this serious,
Huh?
yeah, you're laughing, all this seemed like a party in here. I'm like, hey man, what'd you give me? He said, I didn't give you nothing. He said, you haven't had nothing in 3 days. But I felt so high, and I know it was my Father that calmed everything, that made me say, bring it on. Because when I say that, when I was laying on the table and I looked up at the light, that big light they have, I looked up, I'm like, let's do this. I was smiling, let's do this. And it's like, who would do that?
Yeah.
Nobody. Only person that would do that is a person that's anointed with God.
Yeah, and I remember that similar resolve. Like, I remember being in prep for surgery, particularly my back surgery. That was the one that was kind of the most, I guess, the one I was the most scared of. I've had my shoulder done, but I was having a spinal fusion, and I remember just sitting there, and I said like one simple prayer, and it's the same prayer. I've been in 4 surgeries, so it's the same prayer before I go under every time, and it's God, your God, be God, and I always leave it at that because I've always been from a youth. I've always been a person that like when it come to my connection with God, I just understand what that is. It's the one thing I ain't letting go of. Like it just is what it is. So I say what I got to say. Then what else am I gonna do anyway? Right. I'm laying on this bed. They got to do everything else. So I just leave it at that. Let's talk about how you take that resolve. So for me, I come out of surgery and now I don't feel necessarily, I do feel somewhat bulletproof because it's like, if he decided to carry me through something, what else matters? Like when I've been through experiences like that, what I learned right away is that like, if he settled me on it, I don't have no reason not to be settled. And if something happened, it's something he allowed to happen.
That part.
So talk about how you take that resolve with you with even conquering your day or conquering like students that you say that you have to manage with, or even just dealing with the red tape that comes along with the balance and everything of running the ship and being kind of responsible for like that lead role.
I feel from that day on, I feel whatever's going to happen, it's going to happen. No matter how much you worry about it, it's going to happen. My heart, they said my heart was so bad when he took it out of my chest and he touched it, it peeled like an onion. So my heart is wrapped with mesh. So I got a meshy heart. Feel me? And I can't put any stress on mesh. So I don't let stress get to me. I give it to him. I let him handle it. You worry a little bit, but you can't take it to bed with you because no matter how much you worry, if they're going to sign that letter for you to do whatever you're going to do, if they're going to give you this piece of equipment to do whatever you're going to do, there's nothing you can do by worrying and stressing about it.
Yeah.
So you might as well just try your best to just leave it alone. That's like a lot of students, they test me. And I done learned, because back in the day, I was like a light switch. You know what I mean by that? You say something to me, they click.
Yeah, you flipped on the switch.
You flipped on the switch and it's on. Now you got to deal with it. But going through what I went through and going through life, I realized you don't need to be a switch.
Yeah.
If you're a switch, you're a dimmer switch. But when that dimmer starts dimming down or brightening up, you get out of the situation. Because you don't want that bad boy to come all the way on. You have control of that.
Yeah.
And when you feel things is getting out of hand, you remove yourself from that. Because one thing that I will say, you can have a difference, but at the end and we can argue about it. But at the end of the day, you're going to walk away and feel what you feel. I'm going to walk away and feel how I feel. So why even turn that up?
Yeah.
So agree to disagree. Absolutely. There's an art to arguing. And that's communication.
Yeah, absolutely. And sometimes we skip the fact that is a part of communication, because sometimes we do just have difference of opinions or difference of facts, or we different perspective, and it's just different ways to look at a lot of different stuff. But like you're saying, there is an answer, and more times than not, someone is in charge. So whoever is in charge is going to have that final say. And so it would behoove all of us to learn that sometimes you got your own opinion. Keep it with you.
Keep it with you.
Take it wherever you're going.
Let them do them.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because, like I said, no matter what you say, they can agree with you right now, but when they walk out that door, you best believe that, man, he don't know what he's talking about. You know, I'm still going to believe what I believe. So you might as well just leave it at that.
Yeah.
You know, like I said, some of the students, they test me. And if it get to the point to where I'm elevating, either I'll walk out, give myself some time, or I ask them to step out, go see Miss Drea, go see Miss Carolyn, because I don't have time for it. Because if I let you get away with it, then all the other classmates, or if I show them what that dimmer switch is about, now I got issues with them, or Mr. Ferguson ain't who he say he is. You feel me?
Yeah, and it's always tough to stay in character, and that's what's good about that demonstration. You know, like, look, the higher it get, the closer I'm gonna get to being out of character, and then everybody gonna see me have this moment where I'm out of character. Now I gotta apologize. We gotta dial it back. And why when we don't have to?
Right.
And that's one thing I do appreciate about us as a unit and as a team, is that we not only do we know our own demonstrations, but we can normally see the other ones from afar off. Like, oh no, you get the baby nerves. Let me go ahead and take them off of your plate, or let's take a walk, or definitely I would say. Jaria and definitely Miss Carolyn, credit to your wife. She is good with that, like with seeing different, but this is off like that's not necessarily even directly addressing it, just being like, hey, how about we go talk about such and such, you know, and she's so much softer on them sometimes that they're receptive to her, and that's definitely one of the things that, as a team unit, that we all work well with. And shout out to the whole team for for being for moving in that manner.
Yeah, because I can see them sometimes. They'll walk right past, hey, Mr. Ferguson, walk right past me, you know, and go see her, or they'll ask for you, you know, or they'll ask for Miss J. But it's like, okay, they're comfortable where they're going and who they want to talk to. And it's like, ain't no ill will. You go and get what you need from that person.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? Because we all bring something different to the table. I mean, they look for you. When Mr. Q coming in? When is he coming in? He'll be here. You know, so everybody has their role.
Yeah, for sure. And I've definitely been learning that lately. This is just about the voice that you listen to. We all saying similar things. It's just about the voice that catches you. And so we all are also learning that, like, oh, you ain't listening to my voice today? I'll move you on to the next one. Because I ain't going to keep, because we all learning that. I ain't going to keep saying that you obviously ain't listening to me. On to the next, up the ladder.
On to the ladder.
Or to the next, whatever is going. And that's just, again, that helps us all manage that stress.
Yep.
I guess I would say, in closing out, fellas, is there anything you want to say, like, that you want to leave to the people? Anything else on your mind?
Well, I'll give you this one story. I'll try to put it together. Life is like a furnace. You set your thermostat to what you want. You want warmth. You set that thermostat. When you set that thermostat, you hear a click. That's the inducer motor, which opens up and makes sure you have a clear head or a clear path. There's no blockage. Once that's circulating and it shows there's no blockage, you have another click, which is your igniter. When the igniter clicks on, you have the gas valve open up. When the gas valve opens up, it lights. Let's scratch this, because I ain't got my thoughts together.
You know, it's my favorite story.
I know, but it's just this, yeah. But yeah, life is like a furnace. I'm good.
Huh? What's up? Oh, headphones. Yeah, he gonna tell you can take your time with it. So we'll just do it last. You wanna do it last?
Oh,
give him time to rap, and then we do it last. Yeah, me too. It's my favorite story. You see, I lit up when he started it. That's my favorite story. You want to pause for a second? Can you pause recording, or you just keep rolling? You got enough time? Okay. Yeah, you can hash it out.
Okay. Life is like a furnace. You set your thermostat for what you want. Once you set your thermostat what you want, the inducer motor kicks on and it flows to make sure there's no blockage. That's your mind. You're clear to do what you want to do. Once that kicks on, the igniter kicks on. That's your glow igniter. And you have a glow, so that's your heart, that's your desire. Once that glow kicks on, you hear another click. That's a solenoid. That's your gas valve opens up. That sends a flame through that ignites. Once that flame ignites, you hear another click. That's your blower motor that kicks on, that heats your house, which heats yourself, which you take that heat and you take care of your family, which distributes heat through all the vents in your house. So you're taking care of all of your siblings or your children. Once all that is going, you're heating everything up. Then you have a return vent, which pulls everything back around, back to the furnace. And in that return vent, there's dirt that can get into that return vent. So while you're out there doing what you're doing for your family, heating up your home, you could have dirt come into that airspace that's going to come back to your return vent, which is your filter. Your filter catches all that dirt, negativity, anything that's not healthy for that furnace that will make that furnace go down. Once you feel your furnace filter getting clogged, you change that filter so everything can flow properly.
Yeah.
And you heat your home, you heat your family. So I say that treat your life like a furnace.
Yeah.
And you'll be okay.
Yes, sir.
Maintain that furnace, service that furnace, which is servicing you. If you have mental problems, you service your mental state. If you have health issues, you service your health. You make sure. A lot of people, a lot of men have health issues that don't want to go to their doctor or don't go to their doctor. And we lose a lot of good brothers that way. So you have to make sure you get your heart checked.
Yes, sir.
Get your blood pressure checked. Get your A1C checked. Get your prostate checked. Stay on top of your life. Stay on top of your furnace.
Yes, sir.
And it'll last a lifetime.
A lifetime. You heard it here. Ferg he gave you all the gems. That's the gem we needed. That's what we was looking for. We can wrap now.
All right.
I'm good now. Thank you for joining us. As always, we are so appreciative to our sponsors who allow us this space to share. And we hope that you guys learn something. We hope that you continue to build on your bridge and maintain your furnace.
Yes, sir. Maintain your furnace.
Thanks for spending time with us here on Awaken, Building Bridges, Bridging the Gap. We hope today's conversation inspired you and gave you a new perspective on trades and the people behind them.
And before we wrap up, we want to thank our sponsors for truly making this possible. We'd like to thank CEJA, leading the way in clean energy opportunities, Climate Works, powering careers and sustainability, and the Illinois Tollway for investing in infrastructure and workforce pathways. Their support allows us to keep these conversations going and speak to viewers like you.
Until next time, keep building purpose through the trades.
And keep building bridges in your own community.